let's look at closure property. And once we understand closure property, we will look at closure of relations. So sets may have particular properties under a given operation. A property is a certain rule that holds or that is true if it is true for all elements of a set under the given operation. Now, even if in one particular case, if it doesn't hold, it doesn't hold for the set. Okay. So let's look at a few examples. So a set has the closure property under a particular operation if the result of the operation is always an element in the set. Now, for example, we know in case of natural numbers, it is closed under addition. So you take any two natural numbers, if you add, the result will also be in the natural number set. Okay. Now, again, if we talk of natural numbers, it is not closed under subtraction. Now, remember, to prove that it is not closed, we just have to give one example, right? So, if 3 is a natural number, 5 is part of the natural number set. But if we say 3 minus 5, what happens? Do we get a natural number? No. So it is not closed under subtraction. Similarly, is closed under addition, is not closed under division, is closed under multiplication. Actually, we saw all these things in high school when we were looking at number systems. Okay, so that is what is meant by closure. Now, let's look at closure of relations. Now, here what we want is, we are not looking at the set itself, but a relation on a set. And we are looking at the closure property of the relation. So, let R be a relation on a set A. Now, R may or may not have some property. Now, what are these properties? We are talking in terms of whether it is reflexive, symmetric, or transitive. Yes. So, R may or may not have any of these properties. Now, if there is a relation S with the property P, with the required property, whatever we are interested in, containing R, such that S is a subset of all relation containing R with the required property. So what does this mean? It means you have a relation R which may or may not have the property which we are interested in. Now, Rp or Rp is a relation with the property that we are interested in, containing R. Yes, so that means this has some additional ordered pairs to make it have that property. But whatever is there, whatever ordered pairs are there in R, that is there in this. But in addition, you have some other additional ordered pairs. Now, you have a S which is, S is any other relation with the property containing R. So here, R may or may not have the property. This has all the elements of R, all the ordered pairs of R, plus some additional ordered pairs to make it have that property. So which means what? R is a subset of Rp, and S is any other relation with a property containing R. So that means it will be a subset of S. So here now this is called the closure of R with respect to P, the property. Now since I have mentioned may or may not have the property, that means we need to put this also, because it may have that property. Okay, so let's take an example and see how this looks like. So let's say A is a set with 1, 2, 3, 4, and the relation R is 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Now, is this reflexive? 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. But you also require 3, 3, 4, 4, which is not there here. So that means it is not reflexive. To enclose it or to provide it the property of reflexivity, what do? We add some ordered pairs. So here what ordered pairs do we add? Now here we can directly make out that 3, 3, 4, 4 are missing. If we add those two ordered pairs, it will become reflexive. But if you want to generalize it so that if the number of ordered pairs are very large, how do we have some kind of a rule by which we can figure out what needs to be added? The simple rule is we say P of R would be equal to R union delta A, yes, or what is also called as IA, identity with respect to A. So here IA would be equal to what? 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And now if we take the union with IA, what do we get? We get 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, and now if you notice that this is reflexive. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So now this is a reflexive. So based on above, we can say R is a subset of PR, then PR has the property, say P, and if S is another relation with property P and R being a subset of S, that means S contains R, then we can say PR is a subset of S. So ultimately what all these 3 points imply is that the relation that is given to us is going to be a subset of PR. Remember, PR is a union with the identity with respect to A, with respect to the set, which is in turn a subset of all other relations having that property and containing R. Okay, now this is a very interesting, but let's see how to do it using graphical method and connection matrix method. Let's say A is equal to 1, 2, 3. R relation is equal to 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 1. Okay. Now, is this reflexive? We don't have 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Yes. So, but first, since we are talking of using the graphical method, let's draw the pie graph, directional graph. So, the set contains 1, 2, 3, and the ordered pairs tells us the direction. So 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 3, 3 to 1. That is our. Now, very simply put, we have to add 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3 in this relation, right? Which means what? Which means a loop at each node. So add loops to each node. Okay. Now connection method. Now here again, first write down the matrix form. In the matrix form, 1 comma 2, row 1 column 2, row 1 column 3, row 2 column 3, row 3 column 1, and rest all you make it 0. And now what do you do? Basically, to make it reflexive, add or fill up the diagonal, that is the principal diagonal, with ones. So which means you will end up with 1 1 1 1 1 1 0 1 0. So basically what I have done is I have made sure that this becomes 1 1. Okay. And now your normal set. So PR would be equal to R union delta A. R is 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 1. Yes. 1 1 2 1 3 2 3 3 1. Okay. Union the identity. Remember we have 1 2 3 in the set A. So 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma. So PR would be, this is R union delta A. So PR would be, this is nothing but PR is equal to R union delta A. Identity with respect to A. So this would be what? This would be 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2. You can either look at this and do it, or you can look at this matrix 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 3. You can look at this, or you can look at this 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 3, 1 comma 3, and 3 comma 1. Okay, so whichever is the most convenient. So 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, 1 comma 3, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 3. Just compare it. 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, 2 comma 1 comma 3, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 3. Now that you have seen this, let's look at proof. Now R is a relation on set A. Delta A is the identity relation. Remember, this can also be written as IA. R union delta A is reflexive because of all those additional elements, ordered pairs that we add because of this union. So which means A comma A belongs to delta A, which is going to be a subset of R union delta A for all A belonging to A. Why? Because A comma A means 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3. That belongs to the identity. Now this is a subset of R union delta A, because here apart from 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, there are other ordered pairs as well. So that is why this is going to be a subset of this. Now if S is a reflexive relation containing R, then A comma A belonging to S, because we are saying S is reflexive, it means A comma A belongs to S for all A belonging to. So therefore delta A is a subset of S, which implies that R union delta A is going to be a subset of S, because R itself is not reflexive, doesn't have that property. Okay. which implies R is a subset of R union delta A, which is in turn a subset of S. Now remember here, this can also be written as PR, a relation with property P. This relation with property P by adding the identity. Okay, so that is closure property with respect to reflexivity. In the next sessions, we will look at closure property with respect to symmetry. Then we'll look at respect to transitivity. Now, I just wanted to clarify one additional thing, that R has some ordered pairs, right? But doesn't have some of the pairs, ordered pairs. Some of the required pairs are missing. Okay. Now, to ensure the closure property, what we have to do is add minimum number of ordered pairs, yes, to get PR. But what is this S? S is other relations which have many more ordered pairs along with the required ordered pairs for the property. So S is the collection of all the other relations which have whatever is there in R plus some additional relations. Whereas PR, here what we are doing, we are adding the minimum number of ordered pairs required to ensure closure. So this is important. That is why we say R is a subset of PR, which is in turn a subset of A. That's it. Bye.